So, sir, what's your name?
James McNally.
James, how you doing, James?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, James, what would it take to convince you that something was real or true? What would you expect from me if I was to try and convince you that something was true?
Well, I'd probably have to have some belief in it to begin with.
Belief?
Well, it depends if you're like, do you realise that unicorns are around that corner? I'd be like that. Probably not.
Well, that's a great point.
This is granite we're standing on, a black. Very possibly.
Well, that takes me to my next thing. So then you would understand the difference between something being subjective and something being objectively true then? Just like you say, you're standing on granite right now.
Yeah.
So you would say, I would agree with you that granite's there and it's solid and it's actually objectively true.
Objective.
Regardless of what we, believe or wish. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Explain subjective to me.
So subjective then would be, the granite is there, it's objectively true, but your experience of the granite, how it feels to you, how you experience
that varies from person
that
to
would be,
person.
So that would be a subjective experience of it rather than it being objectively true.
Yeah.
So then if I was to then say to you, well, that granite, I can tell you that I can bend that granite, but the only way that I can prove to you that I can bend the granite is by showing you pictures. Because me and 500 of my friends can access another dimension where granite is bendy. And but I can produce thousands of images for you to show you the bendy granite. Would you take that to be objectively true?
Well, maybe a video would be better than pictures.
A video?
Particular.
So,
yeah, something like this.
Yeah, well, today's technology, video and images can be manipulated. So,
sure.
Would you take that as an objective truth that granite is bendy based on my video that I presented?
I would be pretty sceptical about it, even with pictures and videos. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you would actually. Yeah. Would it be true to say then you would need direct experience of it?
Yeah.
Bendy granite in order for you to take it to be true?
And then I'd need someone that knew their stuff about granite to tell me that's actually granite.
Well, what do you need you apart from your everyday common sense?
A geologist.
Well, would you not trust your common senses?
I suppose if I was there,
you can touch the granite.
Yeah, I would think it was of dubious quality if I was bending granite.
Right, okay, so you would say it was made of something different then. But you would have actual substance to test and see for yourself.
Yeah.
So if I give you another example, if I said something else that would be objectively true in your everyday experience, I'm just going to come this way because of that one.
Right.
If I was to say to you, water, your everyday experience of water is that it will take the shape of its container. It will conform to the shape of its container and the liquid will always seek its own level. Would you say that's your everyday practical experience of liquid and how it behaves?
Yeah.
So would you say that's an objective truth then?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. With all other things being relatively normal, like you don't have like a lot of pressure within the vessel it's in, or like a higher pressure or wind or something like that.
Yeah, of course, but the body of water itself will take the shape of the container.
Yeah, absolutely.
The surface will always lie horizontal and flat. Would you agree with that? It's been your everyday common sense experience.
Yeah.
So based on that, if I say there's something else that's objectively true, do you know what the horizon is?
Yep.
What would you say? How would you describe the horizon?
It's the line that you can see in the distance, depending on where you're standing, in your perspective, between the land and the sky.
Yeah, and you would say that the shape of that is horizontal. It's
depending on maybe mountains or slopes.
But if there's nothing in the way, if there's nothing in the way, it's
from a certain height, it's actually relatively. It looks to your sight as if it's got a slight curve.
Does it?
I've seen that, yeah.
You have seen it? What height would you have been to see that?
Over 700 metres.
Over 700 metres. Would it concern you then that if I say mainstream science will tell you that you need to be beyond 35,000 feet in order to see any kind of curvature? So my point is, based on what we just spoke about, we spoke about things being, objectively true and things having to be directly experienceable. Mm-hmm. So can I ask you then, if I was to say to you, have you ever experienced the Earth as a globe with your own senses?
No.
Where have you experienced it?
Well, standing right here.
The Earth's a globe?
Well, I haven't physically been in space and saw it as a globe. I've seen it through movies, obviously,
Right.
through various different satellite images.
So if I resort back to the conversation we had 5 minutes ago, if I was to produce, images and videos for you of unicorns or bendy granite, you would say, well, that's not my direct experience, so you couldn't really take that to be objectively true. Would you still stand by that then?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if we're going to the Earth is flat sort of thing, if that's the direction we're going to, I think it's nonsense.
You think it's nonsense?
Yeah, but I think it would need to be a conspiracy on the most grand scale, given the number of hundreds of people that have been in space, and I'm not sure.
Well, if I get back to what I says to you, if me and 500 of my friends were to testify that we go to another dimension to experience
you're talking about
bendy
thousands
granite.
of people that work in putting rockets into space. I've got mates that work for major defence companies that build rockets that go into the stratosphere.
Do any of your friends go there?
They don't go there, but they spend their life. They went and studied aeronautical engineering at Glasgow Uni. Some of the smartest people I know. And I'm pretty sure they haven't had the wool pulled over their eyes.
Well, you see, people say this to me, that it would have to be a grand conspiracy and that everybody would have to be in on it. But yeah,
I think even more than that.
Well, if I tell you, for 37 years of my life, I took it to be true and I believed in it. So for 37 years of my life, if I was to suggest that it was in fact, no a globe, you would then have to say that I was actively lying, and rather than me just believing what I'd been told. And the fact is, I've got a guys on board with me. I've got a guy, Gav.
You think the Earth is flat?
Well, I've got a guy, Gav, who's an honours degree graduate from Glasgow University in maths and physics, who, is now on board saying that what they've been taught, what they've been told in regards to the Earth being a globe is utter nonsense. So would you say
I
then
find
he's
it
in
personally
on it?
very hard to believe.
But I gave you two fundamental facts. A reality, I gave you the horizon, and I gave you how liquid behaves. Now, liquid's an accurate measuring tool. We apply it in practical reality every single day in order to establish level, in order to build. It's a property that you can test and testify to, as you've just done, saying that it will take the shape of its container and the surface will be horizontal and flat.
Yeah, well, I tend to believe the mainstream belief that the Earth is round. We do some amazing things in terms of technology, our phones, all the communication that relies on satellite technology. You can use Google Earth and zoom in on your mate's back garden.
Well, we can. How they used to map out the Earth before was we would take.
So everybody that's worked on all of these phones, technologies, satellites.
But that works through triangulation, through towers.
Well, the satellite phones as well, right?
Well, they're called satellite phones, but that doesn't automatically prove satellites. Not that I'm going to get into the thing about satellites, because for me it's pretty much a red herring. If I was talking about the shape of the Earth, if we go back to the shape of the Earth, and you say you're quite happy to believe that it is a globe, which is fair enough. If I then
I've not seen it myself.
Well, you've not seen it
yourself. There's loads of things we rely on that we don't understand fully ourselves.
Well, could you give me one practical proof that would convince you that the Earth was a globe then?
If I was able to go up in Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic thing, if I was willing to spend that kind of money on it, then I would be able to come back to you and go, mate, sorry to burst your bubble, but it was pretty round.
But that's no practical right now.
It's not practical right now, but there are
that,
many people that have been up in rockets. The Russians, you can go for well, you can go up and you can experience anti-gravity, and you can get a quick look at.
So you're talking about a parabolic flight where they take you up and the plane will dive, and you get that feeling of weightlessness. So I mean, that's just a experience you can have on a plane.
These interballistic missiles are practically going into space, aren't they?
Well, if that's what you believe. Well, here's the thing, this year and last year they created a thing, well, not created it then, they've released it and they're actually implementing it now, and it's called the railgun, which is an electromagnetic weapon that fires projectiles with no guidance, no combustion. It works purely on electromagnetics. Now they're declaring that it can fire accurately up to 120 miles with no guidance. So how is that going to account for curvature of the Earth?
No idea, mate. I am supposed to be meeting a friend, so
Aye.
we're over our 5 minutes.
Right, so no bother, man, but just another quick one. You know, you said about going up in a balloon, but do you have anything else practical, like a proof that would convince me or anybody else that the Earth was actually a globe?
From personal experience, no, but from...
But you're quite prepared to believe it?
Oh yeah, there's so much out there and so many people involved that I think it would be almost madness to think that the Earth was flat, in all honesty, with all due respect.
Appreciate your time, buddy.
All right,
Thank you very much.
All
Take it easy, man. All right.
Cheers.
Ken used to always say, what do you call it, he gave me the dump, you need a watch this ticket round the room.
Well, what's your name, buddy?
Jack.
Jack, how you doing, Jack?
I'm doing smashing.
So the first thing I'm just going to ask you, Jack, is what would it take for me to convince you that something was true?
You'd have to be kind of more in detailed with it. You'd have to kind of talk about it a lot. Just convincing is all you have to do, really.
So do you know the difference between belief and knowing?
No.
So if I says to you, belief is something that's, you know, you take to be true without any actual proof of it being true, and knowing is when you actually experience something for yourself and you take it to be a fact of reality. Would you agree with that?
Aye.
Aye. So do you know the difference between subjective and objective?
No.
So like right now, you know, you're sitting in that concrete step.
Aye.
So I would say, you know, the concrete step is objectively true, it really does exist.
Yeah.
Then your subjective experience of the step would be how it feels to you. You know, is it cold, does it feel rough, is it smooth? You know, they are your subjective interpretations of it. So, you know, other examples of things being objectively true, if I says to you, like water, you know, liquids, if I says to you a liquid will always take the shape of the container you put it in, and the surface will always be horizontal and level, would you say that's an objective everyday experience of your reality?
Yeah.
What if I was then to say, you know, because the main premise is what would it take for me to convince you something was true? So if I told you I could take this concrete step and that I could bend it, but the only way I can show you is on a video or an image. But you know, I can't actually show you it in reality in front of you. Would you take that to be true? But if I showed you it on a video or an image?
Aye.
You would?
No.
No, you wouldn't?
No.
Well, you know, what about if I says to you, I've got access to unicorns or fairies, but the only way I can show you these unicorns or fairies is by way of image or video, and that only me and 500 of my friends have access to this other dimension. But I can show you thousands of images. Would you take unicorns and fairies to be true based on that?
I think you'd have to give me more. You have to convince me a bit more. But
what would it take for it to convince you?
just kind of.
If I get back to objective and subjective, like I can show you the concrete slab because it's objectively there in reality. So do you think I would have to produce for you actual substance? Like I would have to bring the unicorn and the fairy and actually show you it before you would believe it's real? So would you say then that, you know, based on today's technology like video and image fakery, you wouldn't really take an image or a video as being factual, would you? Unless you experienced it for yourself. Would you say that's true? So, and then if I say something else, like something that's objectively true, do you know what the horizon line is?
No.
So if you go to like the ocean and you look at, you know, the thing that they call the horizon, would you say that that's objectively true, that the horizon's a straight line?
Aye, because it's like
a straight, you know, horizontal line. So, and then obviously I touched on the liquid and how it behaves. So you would agree that it's of your everyday experience that a liquid will take the shape of the container?
Yeah.
What about if I says to you that the liquid will take the shape of the exterior of the container, so that if I turned a bowl upside down and I poured water on it, the water would stay conformed and take the shape of that bowl? Do you think that's reality?
No, 'cause the water would just like come down really.
Fall off
Aye.
and seek to find its level again?
Yeah.
Do you think that's your everyday experience then of how liquid behaves?
Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, like in school and when you were growing up, they told you that you believed that you live on a globe. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Can I ask you why?
I just believed in it really.
You believed in it?
They never really kind of went into detail, they were just like, they lived in a kind of global.
So based on that, you know, we agreed that images and video can't really be
Aye.
conclusive proof. So have you ever experienced the Earth as a globe with your own senses? No?
I just don't know.
No. If I go back to what I said about the horizon line being straight,
Yeah.
and we go back to again how liquids behave,
Yeah.
would you then say that, you know, those two facts tell you that you don't live on a globe?
Yeah, yeah.
So liquid takes the shape of a container. So would it then be reasonable for me to suggest that Earth is a container rather than the exterior of a globe?
Yeah.
Aye? Nice one. So do you think you would look into this? There's a whole debate rising up and people asking questions about what shape the Earth actually is. Have you ever heard about this question?
No.
No? There's people think that the companies like NASA and stuff are, you know, producing cartoons and composite images trying to convince people that the Earth's actually a globe, but yet natural physics and everyday experience tells us that it's a level plane that we live on. Does that intrigue you?
Aye, wee bit, aye.
Aye. Do you think it would make a difference to you if the Earth was something different from what they told you?
No.
No? You don't think it's important to have the foundations of life and knowing where you are?
Yeah.
Aye. So this wee interview, it's intrigued you enough that you're going to look into this?
I'll probably look into it.
Well, look into it. Well, if you want, you can come to my channel. It's called Beyond the Imaginary Curve.
Okay.
And we go live there pretty much twice a week, and you know, we talk about, you know, the shape of the Earth, and we offer anybody the opportunity to provide proof that the Earth is actually a globe. So thanks anyway for your time. Much appreciated, bud.
No problem.
Cheers.
Ed.
Ted.
And Sam.
And I actually know these two people here, but they know absolutely nothing about this subject, so I'm just going to kind of set it up. So before I go to the iPad and show you these images, I just want to set a few things up. If I says to you natural science, and I says that natural science is a study of the observable world,
Right.
what we can test, its actual substance, you know, what we can measure and repeat, would you agree with that?
Aye.
Do you agree with that? Would you agree that that has to be the fundamental core of science?
Aye.
Yep. Would you agree with that? Okay. So if I just show you the iPad here, and I just want you to have a wee quick read at that. You want to just read it out?
There you go.
Oh, thanks.
You've got your glasses on.
You said the burden of proof lies not with the person making the claim, but with someone else to disprove. The burden of proof lies with someone who is making a claim and is not upon anyone else to disprove. The inability or disinclination to disprove a claim does not render that claim valid, nor give it any credence whatsoever. However, it is important to note that we can never be certain of anything, and so we must assign value to any claim based on the available evidence, and to dismiss something on the basis that it hasn't been proven beyond all doubt is also fallacious reasoning. Example, Bertrand declares that a teapot... I've heard this before.
I just read it, it's alright.
Bertrand declares that a teapot at this very moment in orbit around the sun between the Earth and Mars, and that because no one can prove him wrong, his claim is therefore a valid one.
Right. So would you agree with that?
Yes.
Aye.
So that means that if I say to you, you know, there's pink unicorns that are orbiting Saturn, and you need to disprove me,
Aye.
you know, that the proof doesn't lie with me,
Aye,
the burden
aye.
of proof,
Yep.
the burden of proof doesn't lie with you, it lies with me. You would
Yep.
agree with that? That's fine. Right. So I'm just going to set this down here 2 seconds. This is a sequence of images. I just want you to scan through them, and I want you to tell me what you think is an actual photograph or a painting or a photo of a painting. So if you just go one at a time and tell me if you think that's real or a
I think
painting.
that one's a photograph.
Photograph of an actual cans of Coke.
Photograph of a painting.
It's a photograph of a painting.
I think so.
I think it's a photo.
You think it's a photograph, so you mixed answers. I can actually tell you that it is actually a painting.
A painting.
Yep.
Aye.
So, next, what about that one?
I think that's a photo.
I think that's a photo.
Aye, I think that's a real photo.
I think that's a photo. It's actually a painting.
Is it?
Yep. What about that one?
Photo.
I think it's a painting.
Right, so what?
Me and him's going for it in a minute.
Contrasting again.
I think it's a photo.
That's actually a painting as well. What about that?
I think that's a painting.
Aye, I want to go painting and all. There's no bubbles, but we're probably wrong.
Right, so we're getting confusion here, we're getting contrasting answers between the two, which is actually my point, so I'm going to just skip through to this just a minute. What about that? That's a picture.
We're told it's a photograph.
Right, so we're now looking at the globe Earth, apparently from space. So we've already seen that you've got contradicting opinions on whether things are real or...
See, I have the same issue with maps.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So what's your answer?
A photo of a painting.
A photo of a painting? You're probably right. So, going on to that, and based on what I said about natural science and the burden of proof, so I'll just bear with me a wee second again. Just bear with me here. So, would you say then it would be scientific if I was to, offer you pictures and claim that it was reality? Would you take that as scientific proof that something is true based on an image?
Only if the picture was Jesus and he was the one holding it.
So, if I show you this picture of Nessie,
Right.
again going back to whether things are real or fake, would you take that as scientific proof that Nessie's real?
Once
No.
upon a time.
Okay, so you know it's
and
not.
it was proven.
So would you then agree that images and photographs are inconclusive and that they don't constitute as scientific, measurable, observable, repeatable
Definitely.
Yes.
proof? Right, that's
Aye.
great. So the next one I want to show you is, just bear with me. I'll get to the point in a wee second here. I just want you to look at this wee graph, and this is about standing bodies of water. So what we're looking at here is the under, so if that was the earth underneath, would you agree with what that says?
See what made me flat. Like that. We'll see it like that. Like that. Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
So would you say that's in your everyday experience?
Pretty much, aye.
Yeah. So for me, liquid, water, and fluid mechanics and its physical behaviour proves to me beyond any shadow of a doubt that we do not live on the exterior of a globe Earth. So can I ask you both, do you believe that you live on a globe in a vacuum?
I don't,
a really
I
big
don't know
question.
how to believe it. I would like to believe that what we're told's the truth, but I'm sceptical.
Yep. What about yourself?
I know what we're told know the truth.
Right. So can I ask you, do you trust your own senses?
Aye.
Do you trust your own senses?
Not all the time.
Well, you're here, you're dressed, you're walking, you're not running out in front of traffic,
No, I
you've
know,
got
but there's
balance.
different kinds of senses.
Well-
And you get like the gut feelings that you can't explain, but you know.
Well, aye, they're feelings, but I mean like your senses, your eyes, your touch, your ability to reason.
Aye.
Yeah, you believe that, you trust them. So again, if I get back to that, what I just explained to you, we go to natural science, but it's testable, observable, repeatable. We go to fluid mechanics, we understand how liquids behave here on Earth. Now it's a fundamental fact of reality. Would you say that then contradicts your belief that you live on a globe?
Aye. Of course it does.
Yeah. If I was to ask you, if I say, do you believe right now that you live on a globe?
I would, as I say, I would like to believe what we're told, but I would like to believe that there's things that I don't understand, like gravity and pressure and all these other things that are beyond me.
Well, if you want to believe that it's a globe, right, and if we remove these images that have been there since your childhood and people telling you through your indoctrination, your school, if we were to remove all these things and me and you're just standing here man to man and you came to me and says, by the way, the world is a ball, I would then ask you, can you give me one proof that would suggest or tell me that the world is a ball, what would you go to?
I wouldn't be able to prove it.
Is there anything that you could...
I couldn't think of it because I can't leave this planet to look down on it and prove it's a ball.
So do you think that's the way to do it, that you have to leave the planet to be able to see it?
Well, I'm not a scientist.
What you are?
I'm not.
What is a scientist?
I'm just a person, but at the same time, to me, that's the only way that I could definitely prove it would be to go up there or there or wherever it is and look down and prove it's a ball.
So what about things here that you can use to measure it?
That could be measured in scientific ways that I couldn't even try and describe. So yes, there could be proof out there in scientific ways to prove that it's not a ball.
So if I says to you then, going back to the fluid mechanics and how liquid behaves, that's something that you both can test and observe every single day in your reality. Water does not have any form. It doesn't have the ability to conform to the exterior of shapes. Every body of water you ever witness is level. As long as the water's not flowing, that body of water is going to be level and contained.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Right. So again, if I go back to it, that one fundamental fact, for me, disproves any claims that we live on the exterior of a sphere. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I could agree with that.
Is there anything that you could throw at me that would be contradictory?
I could only say that I don't know enough about the science and the mechanics of gravity and how we're told the outside of our planet works, like how it's supposed to hold it all together and pull it all into the middle. I don't know how you could explain that. So that would be a scientist's job.
Have you ever seen a solid body being attracted to another solid body through a gravitational pull?
No.
Are you feeling a pull between each other right now? No. I don't mean a metaphysical pull, I mean an actual. No. So again, we're told these things, but in practical reality, which is natural science, real science, we can never recreate or show any of these things. Do you think if I gave you a potato-shaped rock right now, and I asked you, right Ted, can you get the oceans and formulate me a model of your globe using the actual elements of reality? You couldn't do that. But so again, if you can't recreate it, you can't. That's like me saying to you, by the way, I've got pink unicorns, but I can't bring them to you and I can't show you them. Therefore, you just need to trust my images. For me,
I would like to believe what we're told is true,
well,
but that's far from what is the truth.
Well, that's great. That's total honesty, and I really appreciate that. That's all we can ask anybody. People want to believe it. Some people just believe it outright without ever questioning it.
No, I do believe there's something else definitely going on out there we don't know about and we're not getting told about. There's secrets and there's lies. We don't believe people.
Do you believe they went to the moon?
No.
You don't?
No. I believe they went to space, but I don't believe they went to the moon.
You believe they went to space? Well, see again, if we get back to the claims that they make, remember we said about burden of proof, and always bring that into it's science and we're dealing with the natural world. Well, again, if I says to you, they say that space is a vacuum, right, and that we live in a positive, pressurised system. So again, when we go to reality and everyday experience, tested and observed 100% of the time and actually applied, two opposing pressure systems, like a vacuum, something that's negative pressure and something that's positive pressure, in order for them to exist side by side with each other, there has to be a solid barrier between the two.
There's got to be a divide between it.
Right, so again, you go to their claim where they tell you they're going to space and that the layers of gas get smaller and smaller and lighter until eventually it pops out into this vacuum of space. So again, they make these claims, but when I go to and look at the actual reality of the situation and look for it in actual practical reality, it's not there.
No.
What I observe in a test tells me the total opposite, which would then suggest to me that whatever is up there, if there is another medium beyond ours, there has to be a solid separation between the two.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
What about the stars? Have you ever contemplated why the stars never change?
I've contemplated a lot of things that way, but none of it ever comes to a solid answer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I've never come up with a conclusion of a definite this or that, no.
Yeah. Well, what about you?
I don't know what they are.
The stars, exactly. Well, this is it, and I ask people, what are these things, and they make claims to know. Well, this is it. And then again, you go back to that balls of gas. I mean, how do you have combustion in a vacuum? How do balls of gas pull together? Because apparently gravity requires mass and density in order to, start the attractive pull, whatever it is they want to claim. But yeah, these things that they say are contradicting to that, or contradictory to that. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I appreciate you spending the time talking to me.
No problem.
Do you think you're going to consider this, or maybe even look into it?
Of course I will.
How about yourself?
I kind of already have.
Aye. Do you think it's
Not
important?
an awful lot, but...
Do you think it's important to know where we actually are?
Well, I would say it's one of the fundamental questions that you want to know before you go. Is what we're here for. What's the reason we're here for?
What about where you are? Do you think that's important?
Aye, of course.
Yeah. If I says to you, if you think you live on a globe and that whole theory is wrong, if you're trying to rationalise and come up with reasons for your existence and philosophise your existence, everything's going to be wrong, spot on.
Yep.
So it's, for me, it's hugely important.
Aye.
I take it you would agree with that?
Yep, definitely.
With yourself?
Yep.
And if I said to you, if you've got access to the internet and stuff and YouTube, check out some of the NASA fakery.
Aye.
Where they've been caught with bubbles coming out of the helmets.
I have looked into some of this kind of
wires
stuff.
and stuff like that.
Aye.
So you've looked at it?
Aye, I have looked. That's why I don't believe they went to the moon.
Right. And do you trust NASA?
No.
You trust them?
No.
I
Do you
don't
trust
the
any of the space
government,
agencies?
no.
You don't trust the government?
No.
Spot on. So then, you wouldn't be trusting these images or videos
No,
that they
that's
produce
why
for
it
you?
makes you doubt it. You would like to believe, but at the end of the day, you know that 9 times out of 10 they're telling you a lot of lies.
And and if they are, telling lies and they are faking these images, why do you think that would possibly be?
Because we're not the only ones here.
Good answer.
At the end of the
Do
day,
you think there could be more beyond here? Like if
Aye.
I says we lived in a, and I'm not claiming this by the way for anybody listening, it's just a hypothesis, a theory. Do you think it would make sense that they would be hiding maybe more land, or that there's other ponds like ours beyond certain areas?
it's possible.
Yeah. It's a lot more feasible than, outer space and places that me and you could never
And
reach.
people that live in the sky,
Yeah.
aye.
Well, live on other planets, so they say.
Well, anything's possible, so they say.
Well, that's it. Aye. But for me, it's merely a possibility that it's lateral,
Aye.
across the way rather than
Aye.
up there. Because as I say, if somebody's postulating to me that there's another medium beyond ours, then there would have to be a solid separation between the two, or we're going to have equilibrium.
Aye.
So anyway, guys, been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Ted.
Right, cheers,
pleasure.
Bill.
Cheers.